Om Vakradunda Mahakayam Suryakotisamabhrabha Nirvignam Kurme Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Me Sada Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhetamaस्तमाविद्विषावहै Om Shanti 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 Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha
Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha.
Atha Pratamodhyayah
Atha Prathamodhyayaha.
Arjuna Uvacha.
Arjuna Uvacha.
We have seen up to the 35th shloka. Sorry, 36th shloka. In the last shloka 36, Arjuna said that the Dhartarashtras, killing these Dhartarashtras, what would be getting? What we would be getting? Ka priti sya janardana atva hetan atatayinaha iti. Atatayi, the one who has committed either one or all the sixfold crimes. So referring to these Dhartarashtras, sons of Dhritarashtra, Duryodhana, and others. Killing them, what what kind of satisfaction? What sort of satisfaction they will be getting? Nothing. Not only that, we will be getting incurring only papam. So therefore, there is no point in waging war against Dhartarashtras. Iti, he argues. Then the next shloka is further he says, let us read. Tasmannarha vayam hantum
Tasmanarha vayan hantum.
Dhartarashtran svabandhavan
Dhartarashtra Subhadavan.
Swajanam hi katham hatva
Svajanam hi katham hatva.
Sukinasyama madhava.
Sukhinasya mamadava.
Hey Madhava, addressing Krishna, A Madhava. It is another interesting, the word Madhava. Madhava is another name of Lord Krishna. Ma is Lakshmi, Maya, Mayaha, Mayaha, Shriyaha, Davaha, Mayayaha, Davaha Patihi. Ma is Maya, Davaha Patihi. Mayayaha Patihi, Lakshmi Pati, the one who is the consort of goddess Lakshmi. Madhava, Dava meaning Patihi, Bharta, husband, husband of whom Ma is Lakshmi, Maya, Mayayaha. Maya is Prakriti. In the Puranas, Maya is looked upon, Prakriti is looked upon as the goddess, and Purusha, the Brahma, is as Ishvara as God. Ardhanarishvara. Ardha, Ar, Ardhanarishvara, Ardhanari Ishvara. Half of the body is Nari, half of the body is Ishvara. So, Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karanam. That is the significance. Ardhanarishvara. Ardhanarishvara. So, Ma means you can take Maya or you can take Lakshmi. So, Vishnu and his wife Lakshmi, Shiva and his wife Parvati. So, Ishvara, all Saguna Ishvara, which is we worship in the form of Shiva, Vishnu, they all have their concept. And here Krishna, who is an avatar of Vishnu, Vishnu's wife is Lakshmi. So therefore, Ma Shriyaha Lakshmiyaha Davaha Patihi. In Vedanta, the same thing we say, Maya and Ishvara. Maya is Prakriti, which is profound as the goddess, and Ishvara is God. So therefore, here it is Maya Yaga Patihi Ishvaraha Ityartha. Mayavi. So here it can take it is the Madhava means Lakshmiyaha Patihi Vishnuhu, who has come in the form of the Avatara Krishna. Therefore, addressing Krishna, a Madhava. It says, a Madhava, a Krishna. Tasmat, therefore what? Because of the previous shloka, up to previous shloka, whatever he said, so concluding that, therefore means for whatever reasons, the reasons what I've told before, considering those reasons, therefore, because of those reasons, that's what tasmat is. Tasmat, because we don't get any happiness, we don't feel satisfied, we will not get satisfaction killing our own enemies, we will not get happiness which the kingdom offers, the pleasures which the kingdom offers at the cost of the life of our the enemies. Here, really, they are enemies. They are not. They are not enemies. They are our relatives. In this, they are relatives in the form of enemies. They are not really enemies. They are our own blood relatives. That initially he said they are our blood relatives. How can we kill? Then further he says they are atatai. They have committed crimes. But still, if we kill them, we will get only papam. This shows the confusion. This shows the confusion that Arjuna had. Killing an Atatai, how can be a papam? Atatai should be punished. The person who has committed the crime, either the one or the sixfold crimes, must be punished. Killing him cannot be a papa karma. A judge ordering the culprit who had done a crime to sentence, the judge is not going to incur papa. It is the judge, the dharma on the part of the judge to give a judgment that is in keeping with the crime what the person had done. Therefore, there is no papam involved. Similarly, here also, atatai, Duryodhanas and others, they are atatais. How can killing them, how can then killing them would bring papam? So therefore, initially he said they are our own blood relatives, we cannot kill. Later he says, killing them, we will incur papam. We are atatais, by killing them, only papam will come to us. Papam eva asman ashrayet. Atva etan atatayinaha. Atva etan atatayinaha. So therefore, confused Arjuna further. He says, how can we kill Swayam? How can we kill Vayam Dhartarashtran Subhandavan? So now the enemies, the outlook of the Duryodhanas, Dhartarashtras as enemies has gone. They have become Bandhavan, Swabandhavan, Mama Bandhavan, my relatives. Duryodhanas are my brothers. Duryodhana and his brothers are my brothers. So, therefore, Tasmat na Tasmat na argaha vayam. Therefore, we don't. Therefore, vayam na argaha. Tartarashtran subhandavan antum vayam na argaha. We should not kill. We should not kill Subhandavan, our own relatives. Who are they? Dhartarashtra, the sons of Dhartarashtra. Swajanam hi atva katam sukinaha syama. Killing our own relatives. How can we live happily? Previously he said, what satisfaction would we get? Now he says, how would be happy? Even before also he said, Kim Nakamshe Vijayam Krishna Nacharadyam Sukanicha Kim no Rajyana Govita Kim Bovir Jivitenava. I don't want this kingdom, I don't want this victory. What is the use of this kingdom or pleasures, all this at the cost of our relatives? So, therefore, what happiness is there? He says there is no happiness involved in killing our own relatives. They are not enemies really, they are our relatives. So, how can we fight this war and destroy them and enjoy the kingdom and the pleasures of the kingdom? So, the Arjuna, having forgotten his dharma, because he was deluded. His delusion because of this compassion which overwhelmed his thinking is not in his sense now. So therefore he argues. Therefore he argues in a way that that is in keeping with his confusion. It's not talking sensibly. He doesn't present his arguments. He doesn't present arguments in a way that a thinking person would do. A thinking person, a sane person will not think like this. Now he is not in his sense. His sense of being sane, the sanity, for time being it is lost, as though he is intoxicated. Here the intoxication is the love for, the compassion for his people. That is intoxication. Mattaha, mattaha iva, as though intoxicated. So it's blabbering. In fact, his argument is not an argument, it's blabbers. That's why the chapter is called Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Vishada is dukkha. So he blabbers. So Krishna would be listening till the end, his blabberings. Krishna doesn't dismiss, doesn't interfere also, doesn't dismiss. Let him blabber. Let him first blurt out the whatever thinking he has, whatever thoughts he has, let him pour out all the thoughts. First let him drain out. Let him drain out all the thoughts. Then when he becomes empty of such wrong notions, after it drains out, only after it drains out, he would be ready. Already, if he has already pre-conclusive idea, then you cannot put one more idea into his mind. That cannot happen, and that will not help also the person. Already he had concluded. He had conclusions. He had certain conclusions about the war, about the war, nature of the war, and the outcome of the war. So therefore, when Arjuna blabbers, when Arjuna, it's sort of a lamentation, blabbering. So one should allow him to blurt out all the thoughts which are born of not the thinking mind, which are born of the emotional mind. So let him pour out. So once everything pours out, then he himself will get quiet, quiet, and will be ready for listening. Therefore, Krishna silently listens to listens to his words. Krishna doesn't speak here, therefore there is no argument here. But later will come. Later, Krishna would take every word of Arjuna and he will dismiss whatever reasons he gives in the first chapter. They would be dismissed by Bhagavan Krishna in the second chapter in the form of the teaching. So here he says, our own people. So enemies have become people. It means the discrimination is replaced by dispassion. The dispassion is because of compassion, misplaced compassion. So therefore, only he blabbers and saying, "How can we kill our own people?" No, they are own people, not enemies anymore. Killing them, how can we be happy? No, the very purpose of war is defeated. Iti, he presents his thoughts. Arjuna presents his thoughts. This is normal for every human being when he is overpowered by emotions. This is how a person speaks. You cannot expect a, a rational thinking on the part of an emotional person. Both are contradictory. Rational thinking and emotion. They don't coexist. If coexist, that is called emotional intelligence. So he is now his intelligence is overpowered by emotions. That is why emotional intelligence. One has to be intelligent also. One has to be intelligent in handling the emotions, in keeping the emotions under one's management control, and handling the emotions and thinking sanely. That one has to cultivate. It's not an easy thing. So here, intelligence replaced. In Arjuna, now, for time being, intelligence is replaced by emotion. That is compassion. Therefore, he says, because they would incur only papa by destroying their own relatives. Who, he says, we will be incurring only papa by destroying our relatives. If it is enemy, then not papa. If it's relative, it's papa. See how this thinking is. If the opponents are his enemies, then no papa. Then he will not incur papa. They are his relatives. Therefore, will incur papa. So, therefore, his deluded thinking is very clearly seen in the shloka. So, therefore, Arjuna concluded they were not qualified to kill the sons of Dhritarashtra and the others because relatives. If they are not the sons of Dhritarashtra or the brothers of Arjuna, then it is not Papam because enemies. They are not blood relatives, they are somebody else. Killing them is not a Papam. But now killing them is not Papam because they are our relatives. So that clearly shows Arjuna's thinking is stultified. It's a stultified thinking. Therefore he says, "Oh Krishna," he asked, "how can we be happy by destroying our own people? Doesn't he know before the war that Dhartarashtra's were his own people, brothers? He knows, cousin brothers. He knows very well. Suddenly, so from where he got this jnanam, the knowledge that we are going to destroy our own people, killing them, how would be happy? Happiness under such circumstances would be impossible. Doesn't he know before? With our own people gone, there will not be anyone with whom we can celebrate our victory. Hmm. Here the victory is Here the victory is destroying the enemies is a victory. And the enemies happen to be blood relatives. Therefore, really it is not a victory. So it's not a victory for Arjuna, he says. Calling him Madhusudana and Janardana, Arjuna told Krishna that these were all people whom he did not want to kill. You are Madhusudana and Janardana. In the previous shloka, Arjuna addressed Madhusudana, Janardana, referring to Krishna. It is Krishna who destroyed these demons, even though the Kamsa others are relatives. But Krishna very discriminatively, not overpowered by compassion, dispassionately destroyed them. He made them pay for the karma. Kamsa and others, others, all the demons. You chastise those who are wrong to us, and you destroy demons, all of whom are people unknown to you. Yes, Kamsa is known to you, but Madhusudana and Janardana are not known to you, totally unknown people. So therefore he says, see, the way of addressing Krishna by Madhusudana and Janardana, what Arjuna wants to say is, you killed those people who are not your relatives, your enemies. What about Kamsa? Kamsa is relative. Krishna killed. That Arjuna did not say. Conveniently, he called Krishna as a Madhusudana, a Janardana. Why he didn't say Kamsardana? Kamsa is his own uncle. But also he killed Arjuna. Krishna killed Kamsa also. But Arjuna did not call him by that name. He called only Madhusudana and Janardana, and Madhu and Jana. They are all the demons who are totally unknown to you. Therefore, you kill them. So it's not a problem for you. Unknown people can be killed. If it is known people, that is a problem. If the opponent people are known to you, if they are your friends and blood relatives, how can you kill? They are not your enemies. Friends and relatives cannot be killed. They cannot be your enemies, therefore cannot be killed. Yes, it is true. Friends and relatives cannot be killed. Enemies who are not known, you know that they are enemies, they can be killed. You can fight with them and kill them and celebrate the victory. But how can you kill the people who are your own relatives, your uncles, Pitamaha, Pitrun, Bratrun, Putran, Shoshuran, Matulan, Iti, all are known people. So therefore he says, my situation is different. They are all my own people. So Arjuna thereby expressed that the kind of problem he had to deal was entirely different from the ones Krishna had faced. In fact, it's a difficult situation. It's a very difficult situation. Anybody in the position of Arjuna really would have collapsed. But Arjuna in the position of Arjuna would have collapsed. But Arjuna, he did not collapse, but he didn't know what to do. And that he blood soaked in the form of this lamentations, this blabberings. Doesn't know what to do. He did not run away. See, without expressing all this, he could have run away. He could have just asked the driver Krishna to take by the chariot and get away from here. He didn't say that also. He didn't say. To his friend charioteer, now the charioteer has become his friend. So he's sharing his emotions, feelings, and wanting help. He did not ask help. Later he will ask help. Sharing means first is sharing, then later he will ask. First, you have to make the Krishna understand. First, he wants to make his friend understand, Krishna understand his emotions. Therefore, he is sharing his feeling. So Krishna was silently listening. And later, when he asks for help, that time only Krishna will become Bhagavan, his guru, and then will open his mouth and give teaching. Till then, since Arjuna was sharing, Krishna was patiently listening. Listening is a very rare quality, and it's an extremely good quality. Nobody listens. Everybody wants to speak. Listeners are very few. When somebody comes to comes to you, wants to share his problem, emotions, people are not ready to listen. They immediately gives without being asked. They are solution givers. They give solutions. He did not ask for the solution. If the person who came to you did not ask for the solution, he just wanted to share. By sharing, the pain reduces. Anything which you share, the pain reduces, but in the case of Sukham, it is different. The Sukham which you share gets multiplied. The pain which you share gets reduced. The intensity of pain gets reduced. So any form of pain, any form of dukkha. That is why when a person dies, when his family members were grieving, bereaved people, many people will come and inquire about the person, the deceased person. They will come and praise the person and they will console the bereaved family. So they will share that that family members will share. Well, that's called letting it out. And so by make them letting out, crying out, so their pain will reduce. And the people who have come, they listen. They listen to their crying, their emotions, letting out their emotions. So over a period of time, they become normal. The intensity of emotion, what they have at that time, over a period of time, it gets reduced because it is shared. That is why people come and they share the grievance. It's a custom. It's a custom. It's a custom. If somebody doesn't come, it's a relative, then becomes a problem. This becomes serious issue. So family members, the relatives are supposed to come and inquire, and this person will share the family members of the bereaved person will share the the feelings. So the people who have come, they take away. I mean, they take means because he shares, therefore reduces. He doesn't take away. As though taken away is half of his emotions, the pain. So in fact, the coming and inquiring by that, they reduce the pain of the bereaved family. So that is the idea. So time is the best healer. So over a period of time, by letting out, so it goes away. The person comes to normalcy over a period of time. It takes a year. It takes a year. Generally, we say it takes 1 year. That is why in 1 year, 1 year till 1 year, that there will not be any celebrations. They don't celebrate any functions, no festivals, because 1 year is a time. 1 year is the time to complete to come to normalcy. So letting it out. For to letting out, some person is required. Somebody is required to let out. So here Arjuna is letting the emotions out to Krishna. And Krishna is such a sensible person, just patiently listens. He did not respond. If somebody else had been in his position, immediately would have intervened Arjuna without Arjuna asked, without Arjuna asked any help, would have intervened and would have stopped it. Then Gita would not have come. But luckily it was Krishna, the highly sensible person. Bhagavan Krishna. He knows how to handle the emotions of his friend Arjuna. So therefore patiently listens. He knows how to handle the emotions. So you can see that in Gita, patient listening. Even the doctor patiently listens to the complaint of the patients. In the beginning, the doctor allows the patient to talk. In therapy, the therapist allows the patients to talk. They're all only listeners. Here, Krishna is a Vaidya. He is Bhavaroga Vaidyaha. He is a doctor, Vaidya, for this samsara disease. So letting the Arjuna speak. Let the Arjuna speak. That is the first chapter. The whole chapter is Arjuna speaks. What does he speak? Letting the Arjuna speak. Arjuna speaks out its sorrow, its dukkha. That is why it's called Vishada Yoga. Because he is in sorrow, therefore he gives so many reasons, thinking that all these are rational. All these are rational reasons. The person who is in emotion may not know that these are irrational reason, not proper reasons, but that person doesn't know at that time because it's not in his sense. So it takes time. It takes time. He has to come to normalcy. When does he come to, or how does he come to normalcy? By letting it out, by letting out what is there in the mind. So therefore the first chapter is letting out chapter. So Arjuna lets out. Further he continues. Who? Arjuna. He continues. Arjuna continues. Let us read 38th shloka. Yadyapyetena pashyanti
यद्यभेदेन पश्यन्ति
lobhopahata chetasah
लोभोपहत चेतसः
kulakshayakritam dosham
कुलक्ष्ययकृतं दोषम्
mitradohe cha patakam
मित्रद्रोहे च पातकम्
katam nangeyamasmabhihi
कथं न ज्ञेयमस्माभिः
पापादस्मान् निवर्तितुम्
भावादस्मान्निवर्तितुम्
कुलक्षयकृतं दोषम्
कुलक्ष्ययकृतं दोषम्
पश्यद्भिर्जनार्दन.
प्रपश्यर्थिर्जनार्दन.
See the thinking, the line of thinking of Arjuna. Etena pashyanti. These people don't see what these people. Kulakshaya kritam dosham. This war is going to bring complete disaster. So destruction of the people and destruction, therefore destruction of the family. All the people who have come to the world, they are the family head of the family. All men from the family have come, as soldiers, infanteries, and all would be killed in the war. Then who would be left in the family? So destruction, it's called kulakshaya, destruction of the family, destruction of the kula, the lineage. Further lineage is not there. All men would be killed. So that is a dosha, that is a defect. These people don't see that dosha, that defect. The defect, the problem which the war would bring, these people means this Dhartarashtra, the sons of Dhritarashtra, doesn't see the impending danger which the war would bring, that is the destruction of people would bring great danger. And these people, Lobo Upagata Chetasaha, Loba Upagata Chetasa, carried over by the Lobha, the greed for the Rajyam, greed for money, greed for power. These Dhartarashtras, the sons of Dhritarashtra, they they don't see, they don't think. He says, they don't think without thinking they have come to the war. It na pashyanti. They don't see. They don't see the defect. They don't see the danger. They don't see the impending danger which the war would bring. That is destruction of family. And mitra doha. Mitra doha is betrayal. Betrayal of mitra, friends. Mitra dohe cha patakam. Mitra dohe cha patakam. The destruction of the family and the betrayal of enemies. Pataka. Pataka is papa. So the papam of killing the enemy, once more friends, mitra, the betrayal of the enemies. Enemies are betrayed. It's a papam. Mitra, friends are betrayed, not enemies are betrayed. Friends are betrayed. So it's a papam. Mitra doha. Mitra is friend, saki. Droha is betrayal. Droham, droha. Betrayal of friends. So that's the papam. Kulakshetratam dosham, the defect of the destruction of the family. That's a defect and it's a papam. All these are papa karma. So therefore the war would bring the destruction of the families. And the war is indicates that that is the people who are there, they are friends and other people are there. So it is mitra doha. It's betrayal of friends. We are killing our own friends. We are killing our own sugrut, friends. well wishes. So all these are papam. So killing them is a papam. That Arjuna has clearly concluded. Killing them is a papam. They are our friends, they are our relatives. So destroying the family of our relatives and destroying our friends, that is betrayal. These are papam, patakam, papam bhavati. These Duryodhana doesn't see. But how is that? We don't know that, he says. Katam na gneyam asmabhihi, katam na gneyam asmabhihi, papat, asmat papat, nivartitum. How is that? Katam, how? How come that we have not come to know this papa? The papa which is born of the kulakshaya krita, kritam dosham, the papam of destruction of family. How is that we have not thought about this? That destruction of family will bring papam. And not to withdraw from this. We have come to the war. We have come to the battlefield to fight. Without, like Duryodhana also, we also, without thinking, we have come to the battlefield. Arjuna says, see how he says, without thinking, without giving a second thought. That many thoughts have been given before. Krishna went as a diplomat, as a Duta, as a messenger, and tried to convince Duryodhana, but Duryodhana could not be convinced. After so many round of discussions only, war was decided, and then even the date, everything was fixed. It's all planned. The war was completely planned. So it is all given a big thinking thought. So it's not suddenly something was decided. But here Arjuna says, how is that without thinking we have come to fight here? This karma, this action here, the karma will bring only papa because it will bring destruction of the family. Iti. Although these people whose minds are destroyed by greed, whose minds is sons of Dhritarashtra, Duryodhana, and others, they don't see the defect in the destruction of one's family and the sins of, they don't use the word sin, the papam of betraying one's friends. Betraying is killing. Killing a friend is betrayal. Cheating or killing. Here they are going to be destroyed because all our friends and relatives, so betrayal of friends, destruction of relatives, papam. O Janardana, addressing Janardana, you have killed the Asura, which you don't know. But I'm out, but I'm in a situation, all these people are my relatives and friends. So my situation is different. That is indicated by the Sambodhana, A Janardana. A Janardana, O Janardana, how can it be not be known by us? How can it not be known by us? Not known to us. What? Who know that sin is born, the papam is born of the destruction of the family, to withdraw from this sin. How is that we have not known that destruction of family brings papam and therefore not withdraw from this? We should have withdrawn, but he didn't do. We have come to the battlefield. So, as though surprised, he asked this question. Here, Krishna may have said, Arjuna, this Swajana argument, that is, how can I fight against my own people, is applicable to Duryodhana also. Is it not? You are not the only one with this problem. But Duryodhana never thought. Duryodhana knows very well Swajana. He wants to kill his own people. I mean, with Pandavas. Not my people. Duryodhana is very clear about that. Pandavas are not my. And Dhritarashtra also. Mamakaha Pandavaha. Very clearly made the distinction. So Duryodhana did not consider. If the problem which Arjuna faces, Duryodhana also must have, but Duryodhana, however, doesn't consider you as one of his people. He considered you an enemy. He will not give even a square inch of land in his kingdom. Even the space, the land which the end of a needle occupies, that much land also Duryodhana was not ready to give. Duryodhana doesn't look upon you as Swajana. Swajana means Swachajana, my own people, my relative. So he doesn't look upon you as a Swajana, Duryodhana, as someone who is related to him. He looks upon you as someone who has come from another planet, as it were, as an invader. Given that situation, given the situation, what is this Swajana argument really all about? So all these are Swajana argument. It's my own people, our people. How can we kill our people? It will bring papam. Our people, our friends. Swajana argument. Swajana means when you say Swajana is attachment. So that discrimination gone. It is meaningless because Duryodhana doesn't feel the same way. If he did, there would be no war. You gave him every chance. You are ready to accept even a village, but he was not willing to give you one. Therefore, where is the problem? The simple question of dharma, adharma, right and wrong. So that's why if Arjuna had clear mind, he would not have thought. So if he had clear idea of what dharma and adharma. So firstly, the dharma, adharma, viveka, then only atma, anatma, viveka, then only the teaching is. So what is dharma, what is adharma? First is confused about that. The Swajana argument and all, it shows that Duryodhana is confused about dharma, adharma. Dharma, adharma, viveka not there. That is why Veda Purva also, athato dharma jignasa, athato adharma jignasa. Dharma, what is dharma should be inquired upon. What is adharma? Both have to be known. Dharma, when it is known, should be followed. Adharma, when it is known, should be discarded. So, therefore, it's a simple question of dharma and adharma, right and wrong. You are supposed to be the protector of what is right, the protector of law and order. And if you allow dharma to continue, then it is a dereliction of duty on your path. This Arjuna did not think at all. This could very well have been Krishna's argument. Arjuna expected this, and this verse was his answer for it. He told Krishna that these people were unable to tell the difference between right and wrong because their minds had been destroyed by greed. If their minds are destroyed by greed, then what about Arjuna's mind? His mind was hijacked by emotion. So both are problem. One is greed, other one is compassion. Both are problem. Because yes, compassion doesn't mean that Arjuna is right. As Duryodhana is wrong, so much Arjuna is also wrong. Duryodhana overpowered by greed, Arjuna overpowered by compassion. Both are problem. Both lead to adharma only, not dharma. But Arjuna says it is greed. They are overpowered by greed. Duryodhana was not a bad man. Greed was his problem. Because of greed, his discrimination, his commitment to right and wrong was lost. What about Arjuna? That he didn't think. Arjuna's discrimination was overpowered by compassion. Duryodhana's discrimination was overpowered by greed. Ultimately, discrimination had gone from both. But Arjuna did not realize that. Later only he will realize because of the teaching. Now he says, he was therefore unable to see who Duryodhana was unable to see what great destruction would be brought by this war and what a crime it would be destroyed to one's own family. Nor could he see this papam he would incur by droha, cheating and deceiving his own friends. War involves all this. Therefore, he says destruction of enemies, friends, destruction of friends, that's what he calls as betrayal of friends. The word mitra here means one's cousin and other relatives as well friends. An example of droha is this. You ask a friend whom you trust to give some money for you. And when you claim it back, if or he says, what money? Then that is betrayal. The betrayal of Christ by Judas is also an example of droha. So the reason these people did not see was not because they were uneducated. In fact, they were all educated people. However, education is not required in order to differentiate right from wrong. Even uneducated people know the difference. The people Arjuna was referring to have been well brought up. They were not raised in criminal colonies. As children, they had lived in palaces with the tutors. Yet they did not see because they were possessed by greed. Loba, upagata chetasaha. The faculty of discrimination, their minds had been robbed away by greed. Upahata chetasaha. Chetasaha is mind. The mind is robbed away by greed. So they're all learned people. They know dharma, adharma. Shastra, they have got Shastra Jnanam, all Shastras they have studied in their Gurukula. So not that they don't know. They have got Dharma, Adharma, that Viveka Buddhi is there, but in spite of that, they are, they are waging this Adharma Yuddha means it shows the mind is not with them. It is robbed. It is carried over by the greed. They are given the mind to greed. So now greed does the job. Iti Arjuna says. Arjuna looks upon Arjuna's drishti, his view about the Dhartarashtas. So he is that is fine. Arjuna's view, with regard to Dhartarashtas is fine. It is correct. But what about himself? His view about himself that one cannot see when one is in emotion, when one's intellect is not functioning, that one cannot see. So therefore, here he further says, greed is capable of anything. You may be highly educated, but greed overpowers all education. It drops away one's understanding of right and wrong and one's capacity to interpret them. That being the case, the education only helps you justify your actions with cogent arguments. Here too, the Dharma Shastras, the Dhartarashtras used every argument they knew to justify what they wanted to do because of greed. This was why they could not see the destruction, could not see the destruction. Sorry. Could not see the destruction they were bringing about. But we do see the papa that is going to be incurred by us. Arjuna told Krishna, recognizing this, how can we not turn away from this great papa? Arjuna wanted to know, how would they possibly consider this particular situation as anything other than one they should withdraw from? Anticipating it, another argument from Krishna that if the family had to be sacrificed in order to protect Dharma, then it should be done. Arjuna continued. So Arjuna imagines the arguments which would come from Krishna. Krishna did not open his mouth, but thinking that this would be the view of Krishna, he himself looks upon Krishna as a Purva Pakshi and answers. Before Krishna asks, he himself answers, asking question and asking and answering them, asking questions and answering. So killing them is a papam, if we say. So killing them, killing them is a papam. The destruction of the family is a papam. Okay, but to protect dharma should be killed. If for the protection of the dharma, the kulam, the families, the friends, all this, if required, should be killed. If this is your argument, Krishna, then Arjuna is thinking. If dharma is a priority, and for the dharma, for protecting the dharma, even if one's family has to be sacrificed, if it is to be done, if this is your argument, then he says, what would be the consequence of destruction of the family? What would be the consequence of the destruction of the family? Destruction of the family means the destruction of the family of the people who have assembled in this war. The family, the heads who have assembled in the war. All the family heads, all the male members of the family have come to the war. So there are no male members left out in the family. So that then after the war, there will not be any male members in the family. That is called destruction of the family. Not destruction, not doesn't mean the wife, children, everything, all are killed. They will be without men. The family will be without men. So that is kulakshaya. That is called destruction of family. So even to protect dharma, if families have to be sacrificed, then Krishna, then what would you say for my further argument with the thinking. Arjuna says, argues. Kulakshaye pranashyanti
Kulakshye pranashyanti
dharma sanatanaha
Kuladharma sanatanaha
dharme nashte kulam krishnam
Karme nashte kulam krishnam
dharmo vibhavatyuta.
Adharmo bhavatyuta.
Family alone, they hold dharma. They alone transfer the values. They alone observe dharma values. They alone transfer the values from one generation to other generation, value, knowledge, education. So these all the dharma jnanam, all these are they come from family to family. Even knowledge, even the shastra, Guru Parampara, we say Parampara, it is transferred from it is transferred in the family from one generation to another generation. And this dharma, which is sanatanaha, the sanatana dharma, the sanatana dharma, dharmas which are sanatanam, which are timeless, this timeless tradition, timeless tradition, which is maintained by the family in the form of observing them, performing them. So it is maintenance them is only by observing, only by following. Only by following you can make the dharma alive. And this Sanatana Dharma, which have been coming down from the ancient time, now what will happen? When families are destroyed, then this the Sanatana Dharma, which is supported by the family, that also gets destroyed. The dharmas of the family gets destroyed. The dharma of the family may have a particular custom, particular tradition. There are certain dharmas which are samanya, certain dharmas which are vishesha in keeping with varna and ashrama. There are certain dharmas, and profession is a certain profession, certain art, certain values, etc. These all these constitute dharma. The culture, the civilization, the values, all these will perish. When that perishes, when dharma perishes, when dharma nashte, then what will happen? Adharma will dominate. When this dharma is destroyed, adharma will dominate the family. Destruction of family, that is destruction of the heads of the family heads in the war, will cause destruction of the family. Destruction of family, when the family is destroyed, the dharma, the value, the dharma which is maintained by the family, that gets destroyed. When that is destroyed, adharma will overpower, then all will succumb to adharma. Adharmaha abhibhavati. Dharmaha abhibhavati. Adharma will overwhelm. What? Will overwhelm the kulam, will overwhelm the family. Then people will not follow values. There will not be ethics. There will not be ethics. There will not be value systems. People do what they like, live the life as they like. Dharma, family dharma is gone. Family values, the traditional values which the family inherits from its forefathers, all will be lost. So there will be complete chaos. That's what Arjuna says. If you say for the sake of dharma, families have to be sacrificed, ultimately it is adharma which overpower the family. That is also it's not good. Complete destruction only. Anyway, it's all going to be destroyed. If you say for the sake of protecting dharma, the families should be sacrificed. Do you think the winning the war winning the war also will protect the family dharma? No, that also finally will be overpowered by adharma. Iti iti Arjuna he presents his view quite opposite to the thought of Krishna, which Arjuna thinks. Arjuna thinks that could be the thought of Krishna. For that, he himself answers. So, justifying his views and displacing the supposed view of Krishna, Arjuna says, destruction of our family also causes problem only, sir. So, therefore, what is the point in waging this war? That is the argument here. When the family is destroyed, the ancient dharmas of the family die. When the dharma is lost, will not adharma overwhelm the entire family? Arjuna felt that if the destruction of the clan, that is Kulam, family, had to be looked at in this way, the problem would always remain the same problem, because there would be no one to establish dharma and adharma. Therefore, Arjuna did not agree with this argument that dharma was to be protected at the cost of destroying one's relatives. This verse reveals how he further substantiated his argument. So, first he presented his views, then and substantiates. First he is Swachana Ananam, he doesn't want. Killing one's own relative, Arjuna did not like. Then he substantiates by different arguments. Now he brings the argument of dharma, adharma. Arjuna feels war would destroy dharma. When important matters, important when important members of a family are destroyed, everything to be done by that particular family will also be destroyed. Here, important members is the head of the family. All men have assembled in the war, so there are no men left out. It is men who sustain the family, who take care of the family, protect the family by providing them food and sustenance, shelter. So therefore, they are held by the family heads, and they are in the war. So therefore, when they are destroyed, the family will suffer for want of food, for want of shelter, for want of money, for sustenance. So therefore, dharma will be destroyed. Dharma of the family, dharma which the family followed, dharma which the family incurred from his forefathers and were following, will be destroyed. This is because dharma cannot be protected unless the dharmi who follows the dharma is protected. Only when dharmi is there, dharma is protected. Dharmi is one who protects, who follows the dharma. Following dharma is protecting dharma. Dharmaha, dharmo rakshati rakshitaha. Dharma protects the person who follows the dharma. So dharma is protected by following, not by talking. Dharma is not in the book. Dharma is in following, practicing. And the practitioners of dharma and the people who protect the family and follows the dharma, they will be destroyed. And what will happen to the family? Dharma cannot be protected in a bottle. Dharma is not like historical scrolls that can be stored for posterity, so that even if a whole civilization is destroyed, a future generation can find the scrolls and know the history. Dharma cannot be preserved by writing it up and keeping it somewhere. Only when the person following the dharma is protected is dharma itself protected. This is an important thing to be noted. When that dharma is not there, dharma cannot be protected. Dharma cannot be protected just by remaining in books. There must be people following the dharma. So dharma rakshanam is dharmi rakshanam. That's why dharma is protection of dharma is protection of dharmis. So Arjuna's argument is dharmis are not there. Then how dharma will be protected? It's a valid argument. Only when the person following the dharma is protected is dharma itself protected. Just as the potness of a pot cannot be retained if a pot is destroyed, so too dharma cannot be retained if the dharmi, the one who follows the dharma, is destroyed. Following from time immemorial, from one generation to the next, this ancient family dharma, kula dharma, is perennial. The traditional family system, the culture, the value systems, the ethics, even the professions, all these are the dharma, varna, ashrama, samani dharma, vishesha dharma. These are transferred from generation to generation. It affects perennial flows. Pravaha flows from one family to one, that is from the one generation to the next generation. Up to the current family, it has come down. Because dharma, what is to be done and what is not to be done, runs in the family, it will be destroyed if the family is destroyed. Moreover, when the dharma is destroyed, those who survived because they were not in the battlefield, will definitely succumb to adharma. This was Arjuna's argument here, one that was quite convincing. Yes, if no male members who protect the family not there, then what will happen to the family? How will they win the bread? How will they sustain themselves? Then the woman in the family will take to the immoral ways for the protection of the family. Because of the children have to be protected. They don't know any other way, means of earning and protection. In those days, women were dependent on men. So therefore, when the Adara is not there, then what how the woman will protect? And also, being weak, they will be dominated by, they will be overpowered by, they will be controlled by the enemies. The enemies will take over them and make them slaves. So all this will be the consequence. And that is destruction of dharma. Therefore, hey Krishna, if you say that fighting, even at the cost of the destruction of family, the dharma to be protected, even if you fight, dharma cannot be protected ultimately. Adharma will overpower dharma. Finally, the adharma only. So, therefore, better withdraw from war. Let us not fight. It is not going to produce any good. It is going to cause complete disaster. It will destroy the whole system, the family system, the members as well as the family system. There will be complete chaos in the society. Should we do that? Iti Arjuna, he convincingly he argues. His argument is valid. Seems to be valid. Argument is valid means from this point it seems to be valid. So therefore, because the same reason what the supposed view of Krishna is is countered by the Arjuna by this argument. Therefore, it is convincing. It seems to be a valid argument, a valid counter for supposed view of Krishna. It is only supposed view. Krishna did not say anything. It's all this imagining that Krishna would be thinking so Arjuna presence. So it's Arjuna's view because of Arjuna's view is because of the supposed view of Krishna. Vyasacharya puts that way. Vyasacharya puts that these are the views of Arjuna, thinking that think supposing that supposing the views of supposing the views of Krishna, that the withdrawal from war, not fighting the war, will bring complete chaos. No, fighting the war only will bring chaos. Iti Arjuna he presents his views, arguments. He is a argument. Why? Because Arjuna himself, as the Purva Pakshi raises questions, not in the shloka. It is not in the shloka. This is how the commentator they write. If a Purva Pakshi asks, if here Purva Pakshi is Krishna, if Krishna asks or Krishna thinks so, then what could be the Arjuna's answer? This is the Arjuna's answer. Therefore, Arjuna's argument. In that sense, we use Arjuna's argument. But here, there is really speaking, there is no argument. Krishna did not start in that speaking. So, where is the argument? It's all the views of Arjuna. The views of Arjuna thinking or supposing the view of Krishna. So, that is how it is presented here. So, Arjuna, he went on to say further. What is that? So, he says, the adharma will overpower. When adharma overpowers, what will happen to the female members of the family, the women in the family, what will happen to them? That he says in the next shloka, 41st shloka, we will see in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vishishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om
धन्यवादः. Thank you, sir.